Oh, would you look at that? The Frauds are back on top of the AFC. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, or should I say Fraud Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, here to talk to you about the Frauds that are currently the best team in the NFL. And Perna, he's also getting in on it. Just waiting for the spin on how the Broncos beating the Raiders handedly still makes us frauds. You're going to hear that a lot today. So let's start, of course, with the AFC playoff picture. Doesn't that feel good? Right at the tippy top, right where we belong. And the reason that I bring this up is mostly tongue-in-cheek, right? But the Denver Broncos are now really starting to piece together the play style of a complete team. Because the Frauds, as we've been referred to by so many, are the best team in the NFL. And I truly believe that. I believe that when you put together the offensive game plan that we've seen from the Broncos at times this season, and when you put together the best defense and pass rush in the NFL, there's not a team on their best day that is better than the Denver Broncos. And that includes the New England Patriots, the Los Angeles Rams, the Green Bay Packers, who we play coming up here in just a little bit. Now, I'm going to break down a little bit more, like I said, about this whole fraud narrative and kind of why it's absolutely ridiculous. But if you want full Denver Broncos playoff coverage, because now we're starting to think about the rest of the season. 4 games left of the regular season, then playoff football. We're covering every single one, meaning weekly watch parties. So make sure that you subscribe today. Help us get up to 51,000 subs here on the channel. Yesterday's win, I thought, for the Denver Broncos was significant because of the way they won. It wasn't necessarily that they beat the Raiders. Anybody and everybody is beating the Raiders. But this game was significant, not just because we won our 10th game in a row, but because we are now showing that we can win in multiple ways. And that is something that we need to be incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressed with. Because earlier this season, it was winning one way. You were winning ugly. But I've decided now to go back and start kind of making sure that you know that it wasn't every game that we were winning ugly. I went back and I kind of broke down the types of wins. The Broncos have won trailing against the New York Football Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Broncos have won ugly. First game against the Las Vegas Raiders, against the Jets, and against the Houston Texans. And now the Broncos have won controlled. This last week, week 14 against the Raiders, against the Dallas Cowboys, and against the Cincinnati Bengals. So we are winning all different kinds of ways, as seen there by that graphic. It's not just one way the Denver Broncos are winning. So all the Patriots fans, all the other AFC fans, Kansas City fans, they can all sit there and shit talk all they want because they're not watching every game. The reality of the situation is if you were watching every game that the Denver Broncos were playing, you would notice they are winning in multiple fashions. You can win trailing. You can win ugly. And you can win controlling. That is the sign of a Super Bowl contending team. It all does come back, of course, to Bo Nix, specifically when it comes to the offense. I know that we could break down a lot about R.J. Harvey, and trust me, later on in today's episode, not this episode, but a later episode today, we'll break down what R.J. Harvey did yesterday and why I think maybe the Denver Broncos have figured out a solution to this running back dilemma. But right now, we're going to focus solely on Bo Nix. Why? Last game against the Raiders was the first time I saw this version of Bo Nix this season. A true understatement of game managing. This was the perfect game to do this. You knew the Raiders were going to come out and take away the run, or at least attempt to. You knew that the Raiders don't respect Bo Nix. So they're not going to allow him to slice and dice them with big chunk plays over the middle of the field and long calculated deep shots. No, they were going to say, Bo, if you're going to beat us, you've got to play quarterback. Meaning nickel, dime your way down the field. I've been begging Bo to have one of these games because it shows that Bo can just deliver us the win when he needs to. It's not always going to look like it does against the Dallas Cowboys, where you can throw for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's not always going to look like it looked like when you played the New York Jets and nothing is going your way. A lot of the times, the games are going to look like they did against this last one against the Raiders. Take the 5-yard check down. Take the 3-yard out route. Take the first down as it comes. And that's what was so impressive about the Broncos' offensive performance yesterday, which is why I give it like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. Was it perfect? Of course not, because if it was perfect, the Broncos would have slaughtered the Raiders. So you can't give them a 10. But it's about as good and controlled of a victory as you could have gotten. So do me a favor, get down in the comment section down below and scale this impressive win on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the least amount of impressive and 10 being the most impressive. Like I said, I'm about an 8.5 or a 9. Now, coming up next, how the defense got its get back. And yes, I am saying that correctly because a lot of people got down to the comment section after that Commanders game and they were saying, whoa, what happened to this great defense? It was one game, a fluke, and I'll explain why coming up in just a little bit. Now, before I do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Harry's. Listen, as the hairiest guy you know, my back currently needs another shaving, and I literally shaved it like 3 days ago. It's got like 5 o'clock shadow. It's absolutely insane. I got that tea pumping through my veins. However, I trust Harry's with my personal grooming. Literally, I have tons of Harry's products at my house right now. And if your old razor dulled way too fast, and if it irritates your neck, and if it costs way too much, $30 for 8 refills, total scam. Harry's Plus has now got you covered with an advanced pivoting system to reach every corner of your face with refined blade technology for a closer, smoother shave and a weighted metal handle for extra added control and comfort. With Harry's Plus, you get a barbershop quality shave with German engineered blades. Each blade is honed at 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly at the root without tugging. And like I said, why would you pay $30 for refills when Harry's gives you better blades for a fraction of the cost? They have launched their most advanced razor ever, and it's still cheaper than the Gillette Fusion 5. For a limited time, our listeners can get Harry's Plus trial set for $10 at harrys.com with code CHAT. That's that set, including all new Harry's Plus Razor, 1 refined blade 5 cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. And all you have to do is go to harrys.com/chat to claim this offer. And after you purchase, they're going to say, hey, where did you hear about us? Please support our show and let them know that Moose from the Broncos Breakdown sent you. All of that in the comments and description of today's video. So I do believe that the Denver Broncos still have the opportunity to break the all-time single-season sack record set by the 1985 Bears at 72. As of right now, the Denver Broncos have 55, meaning they need 18 sacks to get to 73 to break the record, which is a little bit more than 4 a game. It's like 4.5 a game, I believe. Here's what I saw from yesterday's performance. The Broncos had essentially 2 weeks off and the holiday when they went up against the Commanders. It was clear the apathy, the sluggishness came out against the Commies. Like, we can be so for real about that. Then, of course, they go up against the Raiders. First couple of drives, not as clean as you would like it. And then they locked right back in. And, of course, pressure, sack. It was just flying all over the field. They could do nothing. The Raiders, that being. And here's another thing that I want to mention. How do I know that that was a fluke? Because the Broncos forced a 33% third down rate versus the Raiders. That doesn't just happen if the Broncos defense is playing mediocre. If you're forcing your opponent to 33% or less on third down conversion rates, you're doing your job. Now, do the Broncos have an opportunity now to really go up against some of the best teams in the NFL and play their best? Absolutely. You got the Packers, you got the Jaguars, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. All 4 of those teams, minus the Chiefs, are currently in playoff contention or in the playoffs as we speak. So now you've got 4 games to really put your defense and this pass rush and your offense to the ultimate test. These next 4 games are clear indicators of what it's going to look like in a playoff-like atmosphere. Specifically when you're playing the Green Bay Packers at home this coming week. But let's go back to the defense for 1 second. Nik Bonitto. I thought for a brief chunk of the season, Nik Bonitto was getting held too frequently. Nobody called it. He was getting doubled all the time. Nobody was helping him out. I mean, it was just nonstop. They would chip him. They would double team him, make sure that he couldn't do anything to get those sacks. Well, yesterday you saw a lot more one-on-ones with Nik Bonitto, and surprise, surprise, he owns offensive linemen and gets his 12th and a half sack this football season. But did you know that he's first in the NFL right now in quick pressure percentage when he's blocked one-on-one at 13.5%? That's better than Myles Garrett, who currently is number one in the NFL in sacks. He's only 6 sacks behind the franchise record at 18.5. So if he averages a little over a sack and a half for the next 4 games, he's going to beat it. At least I think. Right? Yeah. No, a little over sack and a half. I'm doing the math correctly. I'm not crazy. But, yeah, currently 3rd in the NFL in sacks. My brain just did a little fart there. My apologies. Back on track. Nik Bonitto is proving once again why he is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. And when Nik Bonitto is playing well and they have to double, then all of the other players, Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, John Franklin Myers, they can all feed themselves as well. And like I said, the next 4 games are incredibly, I don't want to say difficult. I don't think difficult's the right word, because the Broncos are a really good team going up against other good teams. These are really fair matchups when it comes to what you're going to be seeing it's a precursor. That's the word. It is a precursor to what you're going to be seeing in the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers have maybe the second best defense right now in the NFL outside of the Broncos. Jacksonville is no slouch. Kansas City is definitely, falling apart. They're no longer the same team that they were. And the Los Angeles Chargers, say what you want, Justin Herbert on any single given day can pick you apart. So, these next 4 games, I would like for them to go 3-1. I mean, obviously, I'd like them to go 4-0, but 3-1 feels realistic to me. But if you think they go anything better, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to say 3-1 officially is my record prediction for the next 4 games, and I think the Broncos finish the season at 14-3. A reminder that all of our playoff games are covered here on the Broncos Breakdown weekly watch party, so make sure that you always hit that notification bell and select the all option so you never miss a time that we go live. And remember, you can only do that if you're subscribed to the Denver Broncos Breakdown family. So the frauds are back at the very top of the NFL, and it feels sweet, does it not? A reminder to, like I said, hit that subscribe button, like today's video, and as always, Broncos country, a mile high salute. Be cool.